Spirit and Opportunity, two Mars rovers, were part of NASA's Mars Exploration Rover (MER) program, a robotic space mission that explored the planet Mars. The two rovers were launched in 2003 with the intention of studying the Martian surface and geology. They both touched down on Mars in separate areas in January 2004. Both rovers greatly exceeded the 90 Martian solar days that were intended for their missions. MERA Spirit operated until March 22, 2010, while MERB Opportunity operated until June 10, 2018. The mission's scientific goal was to find and study a variety of rocks and soils that may contain information about previous water activity on Mars. The project is a component of NASA's Mars Exploration Program, which has already produced 3 successful landers, the Mars Pathfinder probe in 1997 and the 2 Viking program landers in 1976. The initial 90 Sol primary missions construction, launch, landing, and operation of the rovers on the surface cost a total of $820 million. 5 mission extensions were granted to each rover as they continued to operate after their initial intended duration. The 6th mission extension, which extended through the end of 2009, was approved in October 2007. The first 4 mission extensions cost a combined total of $104 million, while the 5th mission extension was at least $20 million in price. The rover's ability to absorb energy from their solar panels was endangered by Martian dust storms in July 2007 when the 4th mission extension was underway. This led engineers to worry that one or both of the rovers would become permanently incapacitated. However, the dust storms subsided, enabling them to pick up where they left off. On May 1, 2009, Spirit got trapped in soft ground while on its 5th mission extension. Spirit was repurposed as a stationary science platform, according to a NASA announcement made on January 26, 2010, after nearly 9 months of attempts to get the rover back on course, including utilizing test rovers on Earth. By detecting wobbles in the planet's rotation, which would be an indication of a liquid core, Spirit could help scientists in ways that a mobile platform could not. After hearing from Spirit for the last time on March 22, 2010, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory lost contact with the rover, and continued efforts to re-establish contact continued until May 25, 2011, bringing the elapsed mission time to 6 years, 2 months, 19 days, or more than 25 times the initial planned mission duration. Launched on June 10, 2003 and July 7, 2003, respectively, were the MERA and MERB probes. Although both probes were launched from Cape Canaveral Space Launch Complex 17 on Boeing Delta II 7925-9.5 rockets, MERB was on the heavier variant of that launch vehicle because it required more thrust for the Trans-Mars injection. The launch vehicles, along with MERA and MERB, were incorporated into adjacent launch pads. Due to the 2 launch pads, the 15-day and 21-day planetary launch windows could be worked closely together. The final launch window for MERA was June 19, 2003, and the first launch window for MERB was June 25, 2003. Both spacecraft's launches were overseen by NASA's Launch Services Program. NASA stated on April 8, 2004, that it was extending the rover's 3-month mission life to 8 months. For further cash, it promptly committed $15 million through September and $2.8 million monthly for ongoing operations. Later that month, after traveling 200 meters in around 5 days, Opportunity reached Endurance Crater. On September 22, NASA declared that the rover's mission would be extended for an additional 6 months. The chance presented itself to depart Endurance Crater, explore its abandoned heat shield, and then travel to Victoria Crater. Spirit was going to try to ascend the Columbia Hills. Later, NASA stated that the mission would be extended by another 18 months until September 2006, as long as the 2 rovers were still operating normally. Opportunity was to travel to the etched terrain, while Spirit was to ascend Husband Hill's steep slope. After traveling about 4.81 kilometers over the course of 581 sols, Spirit arrived at Husband Hill's summit on August 21, 2005. The part of the spaceship that travels from Earth to Mars is called the cruise stage. It is roughly 2.65 meters in diameter and 1.6 meters tall, including the entry vehicle, and is quite similar to the Mars Pathfinder in terms of design. The main construction is made of aluminum, and the solar panels, which have a diameter of around 2.65 m, are covered by an outer ring of ribs. The solar panels, which are divided into 5 portions, have a maximum power output of 600 W close to Earth and 300 W at Mars. The electronics are kept warm by heaters and multiple layers of insulation. The rover's flying computer and communication systems are kept from overheating by a Freon system. The flight computer can communicate with other devices, such as the sun sensors, star scanner, and heaters, thanks to cruise avionics systems. The egress phase of the mission is when the rover is removed from the lander. The rover needs to avoid either sliding off a steep incline or getting its wheels tangled in the airbag material. To aid in this, the airbags are gradually pulled toward the lander by a retraction device on the pedals before they open. To fill the crevices between the pedals, tiny ramps on the pedals extend out. They create a sphere from which the rover can drive off in multiple directions while forming a circular area that covers uneven terrain, rock impediments, and airbag material. They also make the rover's descent step smaller. They have the moniker Badwings and are constructed of Vectran fabric. The rovers are 1.5 m tall, 2.3 m wide, and 1.6 m long 6-wheeled solar-powered robots. They each weigh 180 kilograms, of which the wheel and suspension system contribute 35 kilograms. 6 aluminum wheels on each rover's rocker bogie suspension system, which is akin to that on Sojourner, guarantee that the wheels stay on the ground while moving over unpaved surfaces. The design allows the rover to pass over obstacles or through holes or depressions larger than the wheel diameter of 250 millimeters while reducing the range of motion of the rover body by half. The rover wheels are built with inbuilt compliant flexures that absorb movement-related shock. Additionally, the wheels contain cleats that offer traction for scrambling over rocks and climbing in soft sand. The Mars Exploration Rover mission uses the same kind of airbags that Mars Pathfinder did in 1997. They needed to be sturdy enough to protect the craft in case it touched down on rocks or other unfavorable terrain and to enable it to bounce around Mars' surface at highway speeds, about 100 kilometers per hour after landing. Prior to touchdown, the airbags had to be inflated, and they had to be deflated after the player was secure. The lander eventually came to rest on the base of the tetrahedron or one of its sides when it stopped rolling and bouncing on the ground. In order to make the base horizontal and the rover upright, the sides then opened. Each of the hinges that join the sides to the base is equipped with a powerful engine that can lift the lander. The combined weight of the lander and rover is around 533 kilograms, or 1,175 pounds. The rover weighs roughly 185 kilograms all by itself. The motor does not need to be as powerful as it would be on Earth because Mars' gravity is only around 38% that of Earth's. Dust in Gusev crater is identical to dust on Earth as a whole. The dust is magnetic throughout. Spirit also discovered that magnetite, particularly magnetite that included the element titanium, was the source of the magnetic. All Martian dust is believed to be magnetic since a single magnet was able to entirely divert all of the dust. The dust spectrum matched those of brilliant, low thermal inertia regions like Tharsis and Arabia that orbiting satellites have discovered. All surfaces are covered in a fine coating of dust that is perhaps less than 1 millimeter thick. A minor amount of water that is chemically bonded is present in it. Significant proof of past water activity on Mars has been made available by the expedition. Opportunity has gathered atmospheric data and astronomical observations in addition to researching the water hypothesis. 8 years after landing, the rover arrived near Endeavour Crater's rim as part of its extended mission, which had taken it across the plains to a number of larger craters in the south. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you liked the video.